Hey everyone, we had some big positive news for Nikola stock investors come out in late October. So in this video, I'm going to highlight what that big news was and why the initial stock price reaction jumping higher has been reversed and why Nikola's stock price is actually down in the last week. And I'm going to highlight if Nikola stock investors should buy the stock right now because of this big news that came out.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
So let's jump right in, starting with that big news that came out, which was on October 20th, 2023, an arbitration panel in New York awarded Nikola approximately 165 million plus interest with the company's founder and former executive chairman. So they sued the founder and former executive chairman, and they received a judgment for 165 million plus interest in arbitration. So that's big news. That 165 million dollars can go a long way for Nikola and Nikola stock investors. One trouble with this is that this is just a judgment. It will still take time before the company actually gets this money, if they get that money. Sometimes when there's a judgment like this against a person, the individual has ways of working around these types of judgments, delaying payment, negotiating extended terms, maybe filing for bankruptcy to avoid paying these fees altogether. So stay tuned and actually observe if Nikola is able to get this money in their hands. So it's good news that they got this judgment, and they're also suing to try and get the legal fees repaid. But let's see if they actually get this money in their pockets. So that's something to look out for. Still, it's good news that they were awarded this judgment. So you can see on October 20th, Nikola's stock price initially jumped and it was up about 8% following the news on the day of the announcement. But it soon gave up those gains and was down considerably. And it's down right now 6.4% for the week. So it's actually lower than where it was. It was about flat before this news came out, and it's down 6.4% since the news came out. So why is that the case? And I would say partly because of the factor I mentioned earlier. Yes, they won the judgment, and that's good news, but that's different from having the money in their account. So once they get that money in their account, that will be a next leg that I think could be a catalyst to send the stock a little bit higher from there. But still, not too much higher because this type of news is a one-time item. It's one-time thing that's going to happen. It doesn't indicate anything positive for the company long term, such as maybe, let's say, an agreement with Walmart, let's say, for example, for Walmart to buy 100 of its FCEV trucks over the next 3 years or 4 years or something like that. That would be a big positive indicator of the company's prospects longer term, because if Walmart is buying its trucks, that means the trucks are proven to be effective and more people, more businesses could potentially buy it. So it's a good move, it's a good indicator of long-term prospects, whereas this legal settlement is not an indicator of any long-term prospects, just a one-time settlement, and it has yet to bring the cash into the company's account just yet. Another reason why the stock price is not performing so well is because the stock market eventually comes back to look at Nikola's performance. And when you look at the company, I've got the several quarters here going back. Revenue of just 15.36 million in the most recent quarter, and the company lost 217 million on the bottom line. And it's lost over 100 million in each and every quarter going all the way back to January 2021. So this company is bleeding money every quarter. 217 million in the latest quarter alone. So this settlement for 165 million is not even enough to cover the losses the company incurred in the most recent quarter. So the bigger thing would be for the company to ramp up production, ramp up sales, bring the revenue and costs closer together so that it's not losing so much money on the bottom line. Because you look at the cash flow from operations, 107 million outflow in the most recent quarter. The company did do a good job of streamlining operations, exiting some businesses, and therefore reducing some of those losses in cash outflow. You could see that big improvement here in the most recent quarter. It was moving in the wrong direction fast, and they made some improvements, got it up to negative 107 million. Hopefully, when we get the latest update, the latest quarterly update from Nikola, they will show continued progress on this front. That's a big thing I'm looking out for, and I will certainly inform Nikola stock investors when that report comes out. I'll do a video on that to be sure. You look at how much cash they have on the balance sheet. They only have 226 million on the balance sheet, and they've recently taken some actions to add some more money here, so I wouldn't be surprised if the most recently updated number is going to be higher than this 226 million when the company reports its next quarterly results. Still, the 165 million adding to this will be a nice addition when or if they actually get that cash. When or if they actually get that cash. So the judgment is good, but now they need to turn that into cash. It would be a good boost, but again, if you look at how much cash they're losing every quarter, 107 million, this 226 million is not going to last very long. What they need to do, more importantly, is reduce that cash burn. And I mentioned some businesses they're exiting. They're also not producing any more of the battery electric trucks right now because they've got an inventory of those trucks. And as they sell some of those trucks, that will turn into cash. So that's one way they can increase their cash balance, is just by selling through some of that inventory of existing trucks they have before they produce any new trucks. And management said that from now on, for the battery electric trucks, they're not going to produce the truck until they have a sale order. So they're only going to make to order. They're not going to make them and risk having them in their inventory because cash is such a problem nowadays. So that's another positive step in the right direction from Nikola. And finally, the reason I would say the stock price didn't move that much higher is because it's trading at a forward price to sales of 2.173. It's already had some wild movements so far this year. Around July, the stock had some enthusiasm and increased all the way up close to trading at a forward price to sales of 8. That's come down to trading at a forward price to sales of 2.173, which I would say is still too expensive for this company. I would like to see more progress in increasing production, in fulfilling sales before I would jump into the stock. But I mean, it's got good prospects, right? In California, you can get up to $288,000 per truck in incentives that's available to purchase one of Nikola's trucks. So if you put that in perspective, management is targeting a sales price of around $450,000 per truck. So a business buying Nikola's truck could get more than half of the purchase paid back in incentives if you're in California. So that makes it more attractive to make that switch over from diesel trucks into these hydrogen fueled trucks, especially in California, where the law is mandating stricter regulations in terms of being able to operate these diesel trucks. So the Tre FCEV truck is available. It can go up to 500 miles and it can charge 80% in 20 minutes or less. So that's relatively attractive. I wouldn't say for the very long haul trips. You can imagine from Los Angeles to Dallas, Texas, that's about a 1,400 mile trip. You would have to stop and fill up at least twice, maybe 3 times in that trip. So I wouldn't say it's very attractive for the long haul trips, but maybe for the shorter haul trips within California, especially because of the restrictions and the incentives, Nikola's trucks are they're reasonable, that they could be a reasonable choice for businesses. So I'd like to see Nikola make more progress in selling these, ramping up production before I could say that Nikola stock is a buy. So for me, it's a little bit early to recommend Nikola stock as a buy. So I would say stay away from Nikola for now. Still, great news, good news coming out that they won that settlement. Now the next step is, let's hope that they're actually able to recover that money and that money enters Nikola's bank account so they can use it to make some of these exciting new trucks. All right, but before I let you go, if you've gained any value from this video, which you probably have if you've made it this far, please subscribe to the channel. It'll help me make more videos just like this one. Thank you for watching.